There we go. Dave Sussman here at Real Side Radio. Hope everybody's doing really well across the Fruited Plain on the GCM Salem Radio Network. And I am delighted to have on the line with us the woman that is looking to take out the unhinged one. Oh my God, last night was such an incredible thing. We have DeAnna Lorraine, who's running against Nancy Pelosi in the 12th District of California. Welcome. How you doing, DeAnna?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, I am just energized. Last night's State of the Union, I think, was one of the greatest speeches any president has given at a State of the Union, and seeing just how the last 3 days between Iowa, the acquittal, and the implosion of the Democrats last night at the State of the Union. What was your reaction to seeing Nancy sucking her teeth, shifting in her seat, making noise, and then tearing up the State of the Union?
Oh, my gosh. I had so many thoughts going through my head and comments. I was tweeting all night about it. It just, it was, I've never seen anything like it. I almost have no words. It almost seemed like it was theatric, just to see President Trump, so excited and saying such great things about his accomplishments for America with real numbers behind him. And we have Vice President Pence behind him, so excited. We have the crowd so excited. And then we see Nancy behind him making faces. Rolling her eyes, looking at these papers. It was the most disrespectful, disgraceful thing I have ever seen in my life. And then when she ripped up his speech at the end, in the view of the camera, it was just despicable. I felt that it was seriously an FU to me and all Americans. It was like spitting in our faces, the faces of veterans, and all of those people that shared their stories. The family that got reunited with the husband, with the father, with Rush Limbaugh, discussing his cancer. All of these things, it was like she just slapped them in the face. It was disgusting. It was petulant. It was childish, and so unbecoming of any kind of leader, especially a Speaker of the House. And it really fired me up, though. I mean, on the plus side, I am more fired up than ever. The blood is literally boiling in my veins right now, in my Italian veins. I cannot stand it. I would punch her if she was a dude.
Wow. Well, I think a lot of people feel this way watching it, not just right of center conservative Republican types. You're seeing a lot of people on the left that were deeply uncomfortable, not just with Nancy's behavior, but seeing the Democrats sitting on their hands for policies that,
yes.
I mean, you would think that they would be applauding for. Are they at a point right now, and I talked about this earlier in the show, Nancy, where the Democrats are literally putting party over country?
Oh, that's the understatement of the century. Absolutely, they're putting party over country, and they're putting their sheer hatred for Donald Trump, our president, over our country and over the well-being, the safety, and prosperity of Americans. That's the most egregious thing. And then we've got all these little minions in white, all the people that came there to support Nancy Pelosi. Some of them, I saw them pretending to read. Some of them pretending, looking through their iPhones, rolling their eyes, sitting on their hands when President Trump is talking about the lowest unemployment rate in history for Black Americans, for Asian Americans, for women in half a century, and that's not something to applaud. When he's talking about 7 million Americans that are off of food stamps, that is something to look angry about. Are you kidding me? I mean, look no further. If you have any question of whether the Democrats have our best interests in mind, whether they want Americans to be successful and healthy and self-reliant or not, just look at that last night. Rewind it, look at the close-ups of their faces, and that's all you need to know. They don't give a crap about Americans' well-being. They want us to be broke, dependent on the government, not healthy, homeless. That's what they want. And President Trump is eradicating all of that. He is their worst nightmare because he's getting people into jobs. He's getting people off of food stamps. He's getting people successful and not reliant on the government. And They want power and control. They want power and control no matter how they get it. And we're, amazingly, we're seeing this right now. It's like we're seeing the men behind the mirror, and this vast contrast between what's really in their hearts of the left and what's really in the hearts of the right. And it's nice to know that there's a lot of people in the middle, or that even just were a little bit center of left, that are coming out of the woodwork and saying, like, this is too much for me. I've been
Yeah.
on the left for this time, but this is just too much for me. I can't even handle this.
Let's talk a little bit about your campaign and those folks that are coming out to support you, because I know you've been very busy. You've been on the streets. You've been clearing and cleaning up the needles and
Yes.
literally the human defecation on the streets with folks like Scott Pressler and others up there in San Francisco. Talk a little bit about your campaign and your focus, and also a little bit of information for people out there where they can find your campaign online.
Yes, absolutely. I am really organizing my ground team right now. We are getting a very strong ground game going in the streets of San Francisco. We're getting lots of people on board. There's so much enthusiasm from a lot of the Republicans here in San Francisco, and a lot of the no party preference. A lot of the independents are coming to me too, which is great, Dave. San Francisco has the highest percentage of no party preference voters in all of any district in California, which is great because a lot of these people, they're hungry for a change. They do believe that Nancy Pelosi's been in office too long and she's doing a terrible job. They connect the dots between her job and what she's doing for the district, and they love me. They like my message, and they're excited about it. That's what we need. So I'm getting a lot of these people, and those are the people that we're also courting. We're spending a lot of time having great conversations with them and getting them to vote. That's really the magic. Of course, there's a low percentage of Republicans here in San Francisco, but it would be ridiculous to write off the people that are independent, because that's actually the greatest majority here, and they're coming around. So lots of great ground game, lots of door knocking, lots of conversation, and lots of people that are coming over to my side.
And they can find you where?
They can find me on my website at DeAnna for Congress. That's DeAnnaFOR Congress.com to participate or donate. And definitely add me on Twitter. If you're not following me already, it is lit up. That's DeAnna with the number 4 Congress. And definitely follow my Twitter in the next couple days. Something exciting is about to happen tomorrow morning. I can't really talk about it too much right now.
Give us a tease. It's just you and me and, a few 100,000 listeners. But just give us a tease.
Yes. So just make sure that you check my Twitter tomorrow morning, and let's just say it is going to be raining liberal tears from the sky.
Ooh.
Okay, something crazy, and it's and of course we're going to be calling out Nancy Pelosi big time. All the dots will be connected, but you definitely have to stay tuned and check my Twitter. Do not miss it.
Wow! And again, the Twitter is
DeAnna for Congress. That's the number 4. Congress.
Okay.
It's gonna be lit tomorrow.
Yeah. In our last couple of minutes here, listen, San Francisco is a beautiful city. It may be one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Something has gone really, really wrong in this city, and it was gradually getting worse after 40 years of Jerry Brown and everything else. But what has happened just in the past few years, where it has escalated to a point where you've got literally like experts on slums around the world that are saying parts of San Francisco are as bad as the slums that you'd find in Brazil and other third world countries. What's happened?
Well, Democrat policies are what's happened, okay? They're doing things like decriminalizing what they call quality of life crimes in San Francisco, feces on the streets and car break-ins, theft that's under $1,000. The prices, obviously, is just so astronomically high for housing and for apartments. The zoning laws are outrageous, so it takes so long to get anything built. There's just, and of course, there's a greater divide between the wealthy and those that live in those wealthy enclaves and the poor and the homeless. And we also have these homeless shelters that are really doing nothing but acting as magnets for homeless to come in from other cities and be taken care of here. It's really just enabling them. We're pouring millions of dollars every year into these so-called homeless solutions, but who's profiting from them? Because it's certainly not the homeless.
Yeah.
It's just causing it to be really a magnet for it to attract more homelessness, more crime, more drug addiction and mental health issues, and we're not actually taking care of them. We have this needle exchange programs that the Democrats are all for, giving free needles. It's not helping, it's only enabling. So we've got to get tough on crime and law and order. We just have to, and we have to face the issues that Democrats refuse to face. They just want to deny and say everything's perfect and live in la la land. But, like Rudy Giuliani says, we have to get tough on crime. and we will have a much more prosperous, healthy, and safer San Francisco for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what, folks? You're listening to DeAnna Lorraine here. She is running for Congress against Nancy Pelosi in California 12. You know, we've seen earthquakes. We've seen shocks before. Think about AOC in the primary back in New York. Nobody gave her a chance. Things can happen, but she needs support, and she needs our listeners and good people like you. Find her on Twitter at DeAnna. That's DEANNA 4, the number 4 Congress.com. And your website is what? DeAnna4FOR Congress.com?
Yes, DeAnna4FOR Congress.com.
And when is the primary in California?
The primary is March 3rd, but early voting already started this week. People have already been getting their ballots. So you can check off the box for my name, DeAnna Lorraine, at the top of the ballot.
Yeah. Listen, folks, I know DeAnna. She's a friend. She's a good person, and she will fight for everybody in San Francisco. So if you're listening across the country, help her out, especially if you dislike what you just saw last night and over the past several months with impeachment. DeAnna, thank you so much. Best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you at CPAC in D.C. at the end of the month. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're
Dave.
very
I
welcome.
appreciate you.
Take care, DeAnna. All right, bye. And folks, we'll be back after the break here with more coming up at Real Side Radio.